you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
I'm Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, these things that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, for 16 years, 2,800 episodes, one of the oldest still broadcasting regularly podcasts that are around. It was like, I think there's 5 of us left or something. And most of them are just kind of zombified, I think, at this point. But we're alive and kicking. That's all the more reason you need to refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Facebook.com/Chris Voss, and what is the other one? YouTube.com/Chris Voss. The opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today's featured author comes to us from bookstolifemarketing.co.uk. With expert publishing to strategic marketing, they help authors reach their audience and maximize their book success. Today we have an amazing young man on the show. We're going to talk to him about his wild life and insights and journey and all that good stuff, and some of his novels as well. Today we have the author of the forthcoming book that came out on October 13th, 2025. I don't know why I said forthcoming. It is entitled Irenic Principal, Fiction, The Precursor of Fact by Alan Roderick-Jones. We're going to get into it with him and find out his journey through life and why he wrote those books and some of the other things he's done in Hollywood. Alan is an artist, painter, art director, production designer, screenwriter, and director who has worked in film and television since 1961. He's lived in Malibu, California with his wife for the past 41 years, and he has so successfully done in the past. He is feeling joyfully redesigning the rest of his golden years at this point in his life. Welcome to the show, Alan. How are you?
That's always that leading question. I'm in it, but not of it. I can't be part of the chaos.
We're kind of chaotic here on the show with our jokes and stupid things that I say. So, Alan, give us your .coms. Welcome to the show. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Wherever in the universe.
Wherever
I'm in Westlake Village in my garden right now.
Okay, so everyone can find him in his garden. Would you like to give the address, Alan, out? No.
I didn't buy the house, actually. I bought the garden. I called my wife after losing the house in Malibu.
Oh.
And I said, darling, we're not buying the house. We can lock it up and be in Tuscany or Provence, but we're buying the trees.
The garden, it's a beautiful place many times.
Yeah.
So any .coms or websites for you where people can find out more about you?
Yes, it's Alan R-J artisan.com. ALAN-R-J artisan.com.
So give us a 30,000 overview of what's in Irenic Principles. There's that Irenic or Irenic?
Irenic comes from a Greek word which really means in a time like now to fulfill peace. And then I titled it also Fiction, the Precursor of Fact, because fiction doesn't really follow fact. It announces it. Every great transformation begins really as someone's impossible vision. And the Irenic Principle is about peace, not a passive hope, but as active creation through our own consciousness. And I originally had the lead as a man when it was a screenplay, who is the leading physicist of the world and is able to collect and enhance consciousness. And I was at a party in Hollywood one night, and these young men were talking. I said, excuse me, are you scientists? And they said, oh, yes. So I told them the premise of my story. And the next day I get this phone call from Stephen. And he said, my name's Stephen. Are you Alan? I said, yes. He said, could I come and see you? I have heard about your project. So he comes down and we're having lunch. And I said, consciousness permeates everything. And he said, neutrinos do. And I said, what is a neutrino? And And he went quiet and he said, billions of them every second pass through your body. And I said, what if neutrinos were consciousness? And he went silent, took his glasses off, looked at me, carried on eating, put his glasses back on, said, Alan, you must be 80 years ahead. I'm yours. Anyway, he flew me up to Livermore and gave me all the technical knowledge I needed. And when I finished the screenplay, 3 scientists got the Nobel Peace Prize for discovering neutrinos.
Oh, wow.
And the day I sent it over to DreamWorks for them to read, a scientist said, neutrinos contain matter. Is this the holy grail of the universe?
Wow.
Anyway, my scientist, my physicist, let's call her, she doesn't have visions despite being the scientist she is. She has them because she understands that consciousness and quantum reality are really the same thing.
Oh.
And she discovers through out-of-body experiences and all sorts of wonderful things that happen to her that what I call the primal creative force of life, the dreaming mind, comes forth through these minute particles. And in my book, Conversations with Einstein, you could say, Alan, how did you have a conversation with Einstein? I have a dear friend who's a seer, amazing seer. And one day she said, how's Ultimately Man doing? Which was what was the title of the book at that time. I said, oh, it's on the shelf. Spielberg said he liked it, but not for him right now. She said, we're going to have a reading. And I jokingly said, what, with Einstein? She said, why not? And then about a month later, she calls me. She said, come over, I'm free. So I go over and she's standing at the front door, smiling. I said, well, you look happy. She said, he's already here. And he's telling me the prodigal son has returned. And I said, the naive prodigal son. And then she went silent. She said, oh, he's now telling me that we're all naive while we're in this human body. We're all mythologists.
Oh, really?
Anyway, I had 3 readings with him. And those 3 readings are in the book, Conversations with Einstein. And then they incorporated what he told me into the screenplay. And then now having written the novel from the screenplay.
Wow. That's quite extraordinary.
That's quite a story.
Yeah, that's quite a story. I mean, I talked to God the other night, but it was just really strong edibles. Not sure what that means. Now, you've done stints in Hollywood and different things we're going to get into, work with George Lucas, but the Irenic Principal began as a screenplay in 1984, nearly 40 years before you made it a novel. Is that correct? And what was the story behind that?
What was the story about?
What was the story behind its development over 40 years, I guess, or its start?
Oh, that's a long story. It started off as someone asking me to write an idea of a screenplay. And he was in 1972, I met this young boy, I mention him now, Prem Rawat, who at the age of 8.5, his father passed in the foothills of the Himalayas.
Oh, no.
And his father was a master, like I always say, like Jesus was a master who revealed that inner truth. And he revealed that inner truth. And when he passed, young Prem was 8.5. But Prem had always, from his birth, had been talking to people about meditating. Anyway, he woke up and sat on the stage in front of the microphones. There's this beautiful photograph in my memoir, The Empty Stage. And he said, why are you crying? Don't you realize the perfect master never leaves? I have come many times before, and this time I come with all power. And in my lifetime, man will know the truth. Anyway, I met him at the age of 14, and I was 32 at that time. And I received this experience. I had my Harley Davidson, and I had my Duke of Windsor suitor on 3-piece suit, driving my Harley to go and see him where he was in London. Outside of London. And I received this experience only not even being told really what it was. And I'm crying on the way back, and I go off into the pub. And they said, Alan, you're crying. I said, yes, I know what we're all looking for. And I told them, and I won't tell you what they said, but
was it good or bad? Were they impressed?
I said, the drinks are on me now. Because all it does, it shows you how to go within and know who you are within every breath. You know, the kingdom of heaven is within, so it says.
Yeah.
And it's a state of awareness, a state of consciousness, which that's how my books arrive. That's how my life is now since that period of time. You know, it's over 50 years now.
Yeah.
Rachel and I dropped out, and we bought a farm in Wales. And we lived on that farm, and the children were born on that farm.
Oh, wow.
And then I wanted to be with him a little more, and he was in a funky old house in Malibu, so we moved to Malibu. And never left in 1984.
Oh, 1984.
And I started writing another mythological fantasy, which I just finished the novel. That was also a screenplay. And then I decided I'd write the Irenic Principal from the screenplay.
And it developed. Even Steven Spielberg looked at it at one point. Now, tell us about this. Evidently, you worked alongside
his company. Don't say his company, but I got a letter back. You know.
Okay, all right. Now, you worked alongside George Lucas on Star Wars. What was that about? And tell us how maybe some of that plays into your book.
Well, I started as a junior in the art department on a film called The Victors. Then went on to Beckett, and I was with the best mentors I could ever be with, who had all just come off, the art department had all just come off of Lawrence of Arabia with John Box, the production designer. And then I went on to Beckett. Peter O'Toole and Richard Burton got me really drunk one day.
Peter O'Toole and Richard Burton got you drunk? Those two? Are you sure? I've heard the stories about
I didn't get them drunk. It's in the memoir.
Richard Burton, what a man.
I went on to 2001. I went on to Carry On Cowboy, Quilla Memorandum, The Wrong Box with Dickie Attenborough directing, who also did Young Winston that I worked on. Nicholas and Alexander, the same producer who produced Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, wow.
I worked with him for 2 years on Nicholas. Ended up in Madrid for a year. Then went to Rome, went to Africa. And then received this experience and dropped out really after Young Winston. And then I got a call one day from John Barry, production designer, who I was working on A Life of William Shakespeare with. He said, "What are you doing right now, Alan?" I said, "It's bloody cold and I'm milking the cow." "Nice to hear you, John. We need you." I said, "Why do you need me?" He said, "We're working on this silly sci-fi movie and we're going off to Africa and I need you to come and look after everything and get it ready for when we get back." So I went down, I had my long overcoat, I had a beard longer than yours down here and like big hat. And I walked in and he said, "My God, you look like a Wookiee." And I said, "What the hell is a Wookiee?"
The world had no idea.
And then we locked up the door, we locked up the house, and I decided we would go down there, my two little kids. And I got a call from a beautiful friend who I met here through knowledge. I call it knowledge, this experience in 1974. I met her in California. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "We're locking the house and we're coming down to London." She said, "We've just got back from London." I said, "Who are you with?" She said, "I got married. Come and see us." I said, "We could be there for a late lunch." So I knocked on the door in Chelsea, and who opened the door but George Harrison from the Beatles? She had married George Harrison. So while we were doing Star Wars, instead of sleeping with my dad, then with my mum, and then with my aunts, they invited us to live with them. So we lived in the middle lodge all the time I was doing Star Wars.
Wow. And what was your position on the set of Star Wars?
I was really an art director, but stupidly, I didn't get my name on the unit list the same week I was leaving, and so I never got my credit.
Oh, no.
But I was responsible for drafting and co-designing the cantina, the garage sequence, finishing the Millennium Falcon hangar, and we were finishing it just before they were going to get back. And you can have to imagine this beautiful big wooden shaped thing on stage. And I was getting it all ready and dressed, and the painters came in, and Dixie Dean, the head painter, I said, "Dixie, when I come back on Monday, I want to see this looking like a piece of crap, you know? It has to look really old." And when I got back on Monday, my jaw dropped. The Millennium Falcon, as you know it, was sitting there ready to be shot, right? And I had gone on the back lot and found all this junk, metal junk, and numbered it. And on my drawing of the rim of the Millennium Falcon, I put these numbers. And the prop department, I told them to clean all the junk, and where you see the numbers, just put all the junk up around the rim of the set.
Uh-huh.
And then in the cantina, Roger Christian, who was the set decorator at the time, but he was in Africa while I was doing all this work, and his work actually, had bought an old jet plane. And when I went down to the prop room when I was drafting up the cantina, when you know what I mean by drafting, doing the plans, the elevation, the details, there were these insides of jet engines. So I said to John, the production designer, John, these would be great for me to put across the bar. And these different plastic bottles I've found have interesting shapes. We can anodize them gold and silver. So when you re-look at that film and look at the central bar, it's all jet engines and plastic bottles.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. I remember seeing that movie in the theaters in 1977, 78.
You must have been young, man. It's 50 years ago now.
You know, can you not rub it in there, bud? Come on, Alan. We're a bunch of young 39-ish-year-old dudes sitting around chatting here. Let's not break the fourth wall in the audience.
Oh, let me tell you this quick story. Though one Sunday, coming back from the set, there was a lot of laughter going on the lawn in front of the George's Victorian mansion there. I had a quick shower and went over, and George handed me a Pimm's, and all this crowd was sat around this guy in a green jumpsuit. And I said, George, who's that? He said, oh, he's just finished Popeye. He's on his way home. His name's Robin Williams. So we had Robin Williams having us in fits. I'd never laughed like that in my life.
Oh, he was the greatest. I mean, from the moment I think I remember first seeing him on stand up. No, it would have been Mork and Mindy was the first
we never had that in England.
Oh, really? They didn't let that show go over there. It was kind of a controversy because he was living with the girl, I think, but they weren't married, and so that was the age of Three's Company, and everyone was upset. Oh, he's that guy's living in sin, whatever. But But I when I was young, I loved Mork and Mindy. It was so funny. He had so much energy as a comedian. He was probably one of the greatest comedians of all time. Yeah,
I do a good laugh, especially shows at the Met. Is it at the Met? He did 2 shows, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Winters was a master of characters and comedy, and he could crack up Jonathan Winters and put him on the floor laughing. I mean, I was seeing both of them on the Carson show. Still one of my favorite Carson shows to watch. Jonathan Winters and
Ray yes,
going.
They've been playing that recently.
Yeah, it's one of the best Carson episodes ever, in my opinion. Anything that cracks up Carson, whether it's, I forget his name, the insult comic, but yeah, Robin Williams would always come and, Carson would just sit there and just be like, I'm just going to let him do all the work. I'm not even going to try and keep up with this one, but yeah, what a great thing. So you work with for over 50 years. You worked in Hollywood and doing all these things and different things. Now, one thing you didn't get to on the question, because you gave me a great description of the wonderful stuff you did on Star Wars there, but how did maybe that film play into your book, The Irenic Principal?
I don't think
it had an effect. Okay.
No, it had no effect on it really at all.
Someone at your PR department thinks it did. That's why they posed that question. So over 50 years. So over 50
How
years.
did it have an effect? I don't think it did, because everything that came to me, through me, I'm very open when I work, even when I sketch. Yeah. I was asked to do all these drawings for Lord of the Rings, for the game, for the universe.
Do you think that science fiction stuff like Star Wars in your book carries a responsibility to show humanity a better version of itself? Maybe that was it. It does.
I mean, we're living through, in the book, you're living through her vision right now.
Okay. Now, who's her?
Jessica Peake, my physicist.
Protagonist.
She's well-renowned, won a lot of awards, and she's living on an island. She could have funded it herself where she lives, but it belongs to what I call the commission, who actually run everything that goes on in the world in this book. And people ask me, why do you think this book is required. And I said, I think humanity needs this novel because we've forgotten that every technology, every peace treaty, every breakthrough really started as someone's unrealistic dream. I mean, people's realism, people's fact becomes, sorry, let me rephrase that. People's fiction becomes the fact. So that's why I have this title.
Of the principle.
We've forgotten really that love is within everything. Consciousness is within everything that we live in on our Mother Earth, this earth. And yet we've lost respect for our mother in the way we treat it. Treat it, her, him, whatever you want to call it. And we're able, how can I say, that our consciousness now is shaping the future. And it's sad to see what our consciousness is doing on Mother Earth. For me, I can't go into it because I like to be in this world but not of it, you know?
Yeah.
And
now you work...
Carry on, sorry, Chris.
Now, you work with Katharine Hepburn. What an amazing actress and lady.
Yes.
Peter O'Toole and Richard Burton. I still have this scene in my head of the three of you drinking. And who won? Who drank the most? I would guess Burton, maybe.
Ted Clements, who was an art director on The Victors. No, on Beckett.
How do you
We'd go to lunch at the
Burton
King's Head
drinking?
pub in Shepperton, where Shepperton Studios is. And I was looking for Ted, and I said to Richard, have you seen Ted? He said he decided he was going to have a drinking competition, and he's left.
Drinking competition.
I said, why don't you? And then Richard said, stay with us, Alan. You'll be okay. Come 3:00, I'm on the floor. I can't move. They walked me out, arm in arm, through the pub, put me in the middle of the limo in the back seat. One sits one side of me, the other one sits the other side. We drive up into the studios, and Peter said, stop here. And they built the interior of Canterbury Cathedral on this massive stage, and the exterior was on the outside. So Richard pulls me out, Peter comes around, picks me up, and then they're frog marching me towards the steps going up to the cathedral. And who comes out the door? John Barry, the production designer. And they dropped me. They just dropped me on the floor. And I'm lying on the floor. And one of them says, we're totally responsible for him, John. We've got to go in and do our job now. And Katharine Hepburn and Peter were on The Lion in Winter. And people always say, Alan, what's your favorite film? And I say The Lion in Winter.
I love The Lion in Winter.
I think I was 26, 27 at the time. And we were in Aix-en-Provence, Ireland. And my job was to draw up and draft up the castle courtyard and a few of the sets. But the first job was designing all the furniture. So I went to the Victorian Albert Museum and got all my research. And then one day I was up in the Tower Bell in Montmajour, where Van Gogh used to go and draw, actually.
Oh, wow.
And we'd built this tower on top. And I was up there on a ladder. And Katharine came out in costume and started to come up the ladder. I said, Katharine, don't come up. Please don't come up. She said, Alan, I won't. I understand. Thank you. And I went, oh, my God, she knows my name.
Katharine Hepburn?
And she knew everybody's name on the set.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wow. Everybody's name.
Yeah, I mean, just what an amazing actress.
What amazing
and career, and really, I've always loved her. Just, I think she's always been a bit of a spitfire. You know what I mean? Yeah. Is that the right word to use from that age?
Yeah. Well, she had just lost Spencer. You know, Spencer had just passed away. Tracy. Oh. So those tears, when you see the film again, they're real. Those tears just flooded.
Wow. She was always a spitfire, kind of like Betty Davis. She wasn't afraid to say some shit. So you work with Marlon Brando. I mean, that just must have been
Sophia Loren Marlon with Charlie Chaplin directing.
Oh, wow. What film was that?
The Countess from Hong Kong.
Okay.
And I remember one morning just walking down Pinewood Studios to go and have breakfast. and in this outside drive area. And walking towards me was Charlie and his wife in his big hat and his big overcoat. And I said, "Good morning, Mr. Chaplin. Good morning, Una." And he said, "Good morning, Alan. Thank you for everything you're doing for me." And he walked on. And I turned around and I went, "My God, I'm working with Charlie Chaplin." Right? It hadn't really hit me. It was like the second week of seeing him on stage. And then Brando was always so immaculate. But the very first day, he was so late. And Chaplin reamed him. He said, "You think I need you? I've already got someone else lined up. If you're not here tomorrow on time for makeup, out."
To Brando. Wow.
Said that to Brando. And then Brando gave up because Chaplin had a little bit of an ego and in some ways, because he would always try and tell Brando how to do it, what to do, how to do it. But you don't tell Brando that, you know.
Yeah.
And Sophia was so beautiful. She said,
"Sophia's so beautiful." I mean, still to this day. I mean,
she said good morning to me one day.
Did she really? That must have been sweet. I mean,
I was walking down the corridor for breakfast again, and there's two glass doors. Mm-hmm. And I'm going towards this door, and she comes out, and then goes back in. And then there's another glass door here, and I come past that door, and she comes out, and she says, "Good morning, Alan." I went, "Oh, my God, now I realize I really missed out." I should have said, "Sophia, can I take
Give me your number?
Can I take you for a drink tonight?"
Yes. Take you to lunch. I would have closed on that. I keep. I don't know. I don't have a joke here.
I think I was 25 or something. I was so naive. I was a London naive boy.
Oh, well, maybe why she liked you. But I mean, she is a beautiful woman, extraordinary. Yeah. I'm a photographer, and I do a lot of portrait photography. And I mean, to me, she's one of the most elegant. I love those old 50s, 60s
with Marcello.
pictures, the black and white.
What about the ones with Marcello?
No, Marcello. Now, who is he? Because I'm not
Marcello Mastroianni, the Italian actor she did about 4 or 5 movies with.
I'm not into. I'm into chicks. Marcello, what was his last name?
Mastroianni.
No, I should know that name, shouldn't I?
He was in 8½.
Oh yeah, I do know him. He was a great actor.
He was great. Died too young.
Yeah. I remember him. Yeah, he was in a lot of great stuff. Often. And you turn me on to a movie. I'm a big film noir. I love film noir. I'm a big Bogey fan. I love Bogey. I love old Hollywood. So all these names you're mentioning, I'm just elated by. But I got to go. I don't think I've seen that Sophia Loren Brando movie. So
it's not a good movie. But it's interesting to watch. And Charlie's in it too.
Oh, Charlie's in it as well as directing, huh?
And his son was in it as well.
Uh-huh. I'm looking at a picture from Vintage Hollywood Nouveau on Facebook, and it shows a picture of Charlie Chaplin, and it looks like he's doing a read-through or maybe a scene through.
Oh, it's in the book. It's from the book. Yes.
Oh, is it?
It's in
there's
the memoir.
A chessboard.
The memoir's full of photographs. There's some nice photographs. And then the memoir's not just about me. It's about the people I work with, who they were, what they had achieved. So it's interesting.
You know, some of those people are alive today. You could have them, you do the film of the book and replay their part, but only older, you know. You could pull that.
I'd like to do the film of the Irenic Principal.
Oh, okay. Do that one too. But your other book might be fun if they do it like The Irishman. You remember how they took everybody, made them look younger with computer generated? Yes. Yeah. You do that with Sophia Loren. She's still alive. And
she's alive.
Brando, what an actor! I mean, he pulled all that shit with Francis Ford Coppola on Apocalypse Now. Showed up late, overweight, bald, I think it was, and Francis was like, "What the fuck?"
I bring that up. I bring some of that up in my new novel called The Seventh Reel, and I put him together with Edward Anhalt, who got the Oscar for Beckett, and I was asked to write and move ahead on a screenplay on the life of William Tyndale, who wrote the first translation of the Latin Greek that became the King James Bible. And in my story, Edward's already writing that for one of the directors in my story. And he brings Orson Welles in to play Henry. It's not out yet, but it's finished.
Wow. I'm going to have to check that out. You know, I'm a big Hollywood black and white I love black and white movies. I love black and white film. I love my photographs that I take in black and white. I'm really happy that I grew up in that genre of era,
Me
black
too.
and white TV, because the way that those directors use shadows, Charlie Chaplin, the way he did that.
Film noir, the film noir.
No, yeah, just wonderful. And of course, for me, it's always Bogey. I love Bogey, and Casablanca is my favorite film. Who would you say, out of all the people that you saw and worked with in Hollywood and having that front row seat, and kind of knowing the know in the background, who would you say was the greatest actor of that age, maybe?
The greatest actor?
Yeah, or actress.
Who I've worked with.
I would just say
I would
do both
say,
if you want.
if Peter O'Toole was brilliant.
Yeah.
So was Burton, so was Brando.
Yeah.
And they were different periods, different times to a degree. And then you got Laurence Olivier, who was good for his time, his period. Yeah. Then you got, in actual fact, Anthony Hopkins, when he came and met Catherine for Line in Winter. I don't know if I can get it actually right. She said, "Oh, Anthony, you've got a great voice, you've got a good body, but don't act. Be like Spencer. Don't act."
Anthony Hopkins?
She said that to Anthony Hopkins. Something like that. And that was on Line in Winter, which I think was his first movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can pull it up here. But yeah, what an amazing actors. And yeah, I mean, Lawrence.
And the women, and the reason I rewrote Irenic Principal, we can get back to that, is there were so many wonderful actors that they like to be known as, female actors. And Charisse Theron, if I pronounced that correctly, I was trying to get it to her company, but I couldn't. So I have to go with my friend lawyer and try and get it over to her to play the lead in this story. She would be brilliant. She's such a great actress.
She really is. I mean, what was that? She was in Monster.
Oh my God. And you wouldn't recognize her.
And I mean, to me, she's one of the most beautiful women on the planet, and an extraordinary actress of ultra caliber. But to see her in Monster, and I was like, where'd the beautiful woman go? But I mean, the acting and the role that she played and the character. I mean, it was
the one where she played the hooker.
Yes, who kills people, a serial killer hooker in Florida.
And then what's her name? Played Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher?
Yeah, who was the actress?
I can see it in my head. Margaret Thatcher movie. The Iron Lady, I think it was.
The Iron Lady.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. Who played the Iron Lady?
I was trying to get it, and I ended up just hitting her.
Was portrayed by
Meryl Streep. Now,
Meryl Streep. Yeah, Meryl Streep.
About brilliance.
Is there any movie she's bad in at all? I mean, probably not.
One of my favorite was the one she did with Clint Eastwood.
Which one was that one?
When she had lost her husband or something, and she lived by herself on her farm.
Clint
Eastwood comes by to get something for his truck.
And what was her name again?
Meryl Streep.
I got Margaret Thatcher stuck on the screen. So, Meryl Streep. Yeah, I've got that. It's all that. Bridges of Madison County? Yeah, The Bridges of Madison County, right?
That's right. That's the one.
Yeah. Well, that was an amazing film. That won an Oscar, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What a great movie. I mean, there's so many great movies. It seems harder and harder to find. Let me ask you this. Is it really true that maybe the old movies were the best and Hollywood doesn't put out the kind of high quality it used to? Or what's your opinion on that, I guess?
There's a few opinions. I don't know how much time we've got, but there was a DP, director of photography I worked with, Freddie Young, who was the DP with David Lean on Lawrence, Lord Jim that I worked on, and Nicholas and Alexander. And when I watched that man work and how he created light, if I'm watching a movie and it's not lit well, I'll walk out of the theater.
Wow.
In the old days, it was about story.
Yeah.
And there were lots of wonderful, you watch David Lean, there's always a master two-shot, like Kubrick would always do a master two-shot. It's so rare that you get a two-shot dialogue happening all the way through. And it's always over your shoulder. Here, cut, 7 seconds, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't like seeing most of the films these days. I like to sit and say, watch an old Hitchcock where he mastered out the camera moves through the floor.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Freddie Young said to me one day on Nicholas Allen, don't put all those moldings up there. Close your eyes. And he said, no, only half close them. That's what I see. I see that light. And he showed me how to paint the shadows into the corners and bring down the light on the ceiling down through the walls and up from the floor. And I don't see much of that. I try to teach all my students that when I lecture to them. But I much prefer watching, as you say, those black and white movies where people walk into the black and they have dialogue in the black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah.
They cross over in through the darkness and carry on into the light. The camera's already moving, holding the other person they're having dialogue with way over there.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of that in today's movie making.
Somewhere in my, I think, 30s or early 40s, I became aware of Akira Kurosawa.
Oh,
and he's my favorite too. I mean, him and I believe what is the photographer on set called that designs the
director of photography?
Yeah, director of photography. The cinematographer, is that the same as the director? Is that the same as the director of photography?
No, cinematographer. That's what Freddie Young was.
Oh, okay. To see some of the work that they did early on that's used by Hollywood, even George Lucas cited that he pretty much ripped off, which Kurosawa movie was it? He pretty much ripped off.
Samurai?
No, not the Seven Samurai. It was The Fortress. The Fortress?
The Fortress?
Something Fortress. Here, I'll pull it up. But he basically ripped off Star Wars because as a child, him and Steven Spielberg were going to Akira Kurosawa movies that were being featured.
They brought him over. They brought him over at one point.
Yeah.
And he was honored. And I was directing this film, which I've now written the book of, called the Thunder of Gold, the Golden Thunder.
Oh.
No, sorry, I changed it again. Tyranny of Gold.
Tyranny of Gold.
I got to meet Mifune, and he was the actor in all Kurosawa's films.
Oh, wow.
And they said, Alan, Mr. Fune's downstairs waiting for you. And I went down, he was sitting in this lovely three-piece suit, and I pranammed. And he got up and smiled, and we walked to the conference room and had a conference. And as I was talking to the press in Tokyo, I looked at him and I thought, my God, Alan, there's Toshiro Mifune, your hero in the Seven Samurai.
Yeah. I mean, I love all those films. It was The Hidden Fortress by Akira Kurosawa. The Hidden Fortress. And if you go watch it, and I remember, I don't think I ever watched it before I heard George Lucas admit that he'd basically peeled it off. And then I went and watched The Hidden Fortress. And if you go watch The Hidden Fortress, it is Star Wars set in whatever sort of medieval China is, 1600s or something. And the characters are the same. Luke, Skywalker, Han Solo, their personalities, even the two kind of comedic relief dorky characters that were kind of a bunch of stupids that hung out with them during the whole journey they do through the Hidden Fortress. Those are C-3PO and like you can watch the whole movie and you're just like, holy crap, this is plot by plot, step through step, scenario through scenario.
George never really talked too much. Yeah. When I first met him, I was there drafting up the cantina, and George walked in, and I was introduced to him. And I said, I'm writing a project about a master in a mythological fantasy story. I have read your script yesterday, or last week, or whatever. He didn't say very much. He just smiled. He looked at the model. I was making a model too, pulling the model apart like this, like that. I'd like a jukebox over there. And John Barry said, Alan, draw up a jukebox and put it over there.
Dun, 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 dun. In fact, the game, one of the games that we really enjoyed playing, video games, me and my friends enjoyed playing is...
This is where I walk back into the house. And this is where I walk back into the house.
There we go. Our charge is running out. There we go.
I plug you in.
So, Alan, it's been wonderful to have you on, and we want to wrap before we lose your battery. Final thoughts as we go out, and give people a pitch on where they can order up your book.
They can go online to my website, and they can go onto Amazon, but they're cheaper on my website. I've gone black.
Oh.
There I am, a bit better. They've gone dark. They're on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and on my website, alan-j-artisan.com.
All right.
I've really enjoyed talking to you, and just excited that people are excited about the book, really.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful, and I think it'd make a great thing. Let's see if we can, George Lucas, he doesn't have to do that Star Wars anymore. He sold all that, eh? But, he needs something. He needs a new project he can build into a $2 billion thing to have Disney ruin. Oh! I kid, but can we stop doing the Star Wars thing? It's been done like 50 times.
Please, yeah. We don't need it.
We don't need more Star Wars, okay? No, I mean, more Star Wars, but just not, do we always have to blow up the Death Star all the time? That's all I'm saying.
I know, and it's 50 years now. Can you believe that?
And we've blown that thing up like 50 times already.
1976. I like
with the new plot.
I like the first three. And then after that, I just watched them for the visuals.
Yeah.
The visuals are still stunning. The art directors who are art directors, even Les Dilly, who was an assistant at the same time as me there, he became an art director, got his Oscar. And then he went on to do some movies here in Hollywood, and he passed away last year. He got recognized on Oscars the other night.
Wow. Awesome.
Yes.
Wonderful thing. So we'll look forward to seeing this in the movie theaters. Maybe get Steven Spielberg to write it. Hey, Quentin Tarantino's looking for his final film. There's an idea.
This would be good for Quentin.
There's going to be some blood, though, I think, and violence, but that's
there's no blood. I'm sorry, there's no blood. We could write something.
You'll have to work that out with Tarantino, because he may have some ideas, judging by that, or you can sell the book to Michael Bay and see how that turns out. Most of it will just be explosions, but they're fun.
Have you interviewed these people?
No, I wish I had. I would love to definitely have it. Michael Mann would be great for it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Michael Mann's movies.
One of my closest buddies is Pierce Brosnan. We've known each other for 28 years.
What does he do? I've never heard of Pierce Brosnan. Has he been in films at all?
Have you seen his new show called The Mob?
I haven't. I grew up watching Pierce and with the TV show. What was that dorky TV show they were on?
Yeah, but The Mob is great. He plays an Irish.
Does he?
Mobster. And
I will go see it on your recommendation.
With Helen Mirren. It's on Netflix, I think. I'm not quite sure, but he's just finishing the second series right now.
Oh, I'll go check it out. I have a hard time seeing him old.
He's with Helen Mirren.
Oh, really? I mean, Helen's just an amazing. I mean, she's been around forever in Hollywood.
An amazing actress. Brilliant. They're brilliant actors.
I'll go see it on your recommendation. I have a hard time seeing him old. I don't know why. He was such a great Bond.
He was.
And I think there's a couple good movies he was great in, but I don't know. I just have trouble seeing him old. I don't know what it is.
What about the Thomas Crown and the other one where he plays
Thomas Crown is one of my favorite movies of all times.
And the one where he plays the Irish head of the IRA.
I didn't see that one, but Thomas Crown, I've probably watched that movie 50 times.
And there's another one he did that got taken off early because Mel Gibson's company were producing it.
Oh, really?
Called Seraphim Falls with Liam Neeson. They're both young in it.
Oh, really?
Western.
Huh. That's wild. Yeah, the one thing I'll always remember about the one movie we mentioned, the Thomas Crown Affair, and of course the original was amazing too, but with McQueen, oh my God. But I love that movie, and that movie introduced me to the Sinnerman song by, trying to cue it, it's not coming, but you know who I am, the great jazz pianist singer who wrote the song Sinnerman. That I found that. I had heard that song for the first time through that movie, and I fell in love with it. And of course, Renee, what was her name? Who was the actress in
Renee Thomas Crown? Was it?
Yeah, that was one of the most immaculate movies of all time.
They were great together, weren't they?
Yeah, and you did not see the ending coming, and that was what was great. That's I'm one of those people where I can walk in just about any movie within 5 minutes. I can be like, okay, this is going to happen. This is how it ends. We don't have to finish this. And so I love any movie that can take me to the ending and I don't see it coming. I love it. Those M. Chalamet and early ones are great. But
that's what I loved about a lot of the English movies. You didn't know what the ending was.
Yeah. It's kind of like Monty Python. All right, it's been wonderful to have you on, Andy. Please come back for your next book. We'd love to have you on. Thank you. And I think we got your .coms, didn't we? Websites?
I think you did, Alan RJ.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks to Alan for being here. Order up his book wherever fine books are sold. Irenic Principal, Fiction, the Precursor of Fact, out October 13th. 2025. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.
All right, there we go, Alan. Great